Howdy, it's Leslie Hassler. You've reached Coaching from the Carpool. I own and operate Your Biz Rules Business Coaching, working with small service-based businesses, helping them get growth right, especially when it feels like everything's falling through the cracks and the list of to-dos just keeps growing and growing as you're growing your business. And today I thought we'd talk about really why most service-based businesses feel like they're constantly reinventing themselves or constantly having to reinvent the business and don't really feel like they can ever get those economies of scale or leverage. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you think that you cannot get leverage in your business, you're not telling yourself the truth. The real situation that you have, that you're faced against, is you don't know how. And that's okay. That's why there's people like me out there helping people like you get things like this right. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about leverage, and really this is our topic that we're having in our mastermind. If you've never been a part of a mastermind, really it's a small group setting. Our group actually works part education, part feedback, board of directors, if you will, on growing your business. And this month is all about building in leverage. Now, most people ignore leverage and really don't think it's for them. And that's a shame, because once you've gotten to be cash stable in your business, that is, you can predictably generate clients, leverage is that next growth opportunity for you. So if you don't know what that is or don't know how to do it, you'll actually work yourself into what I call the floating syndrome, where you're constantly maybe around the same number, but you're really not getting good growth. And what's happening at the bottom line is that it's eroding, all right? And you still have cash flow problems when you shouldn't have cash flow problems. So one of the things I hear small business owners tell themselves or say as the reason or excuse behind not being able to get leverage is that your work is customized, meaning you are generating a customized, an individual solution to your client's problems. Totally get that. If you believe that, though, you'll never get leverage. And perhaps one of the aha moments that I had in my first business, which was interior design, we're creating a custom solution for each and every one of our clients. One of the biggest aha moments that I had was when I was reading Good to Great by Jim Collins. Or maybe it was it was Good to Great. It wasn't Great by choice. And he was talking about the characteristics of great businesses. And one of them is that niching focus, right? Of knowing the problem that you solve. Well, the other interesting way that you can niche is in how you solve the problem. Does that make sense? So you can definitely do it with the problem you solve, the solution that you provide, but the process of how you actually solve that problem can be just as much of a niche as anything else can. And so the example that he gave was GE, and GE's niche is really innovation. And they use innovation in a variety of ways. So the product solutions that they sell all look different from each other. You would think this is a crazy man. They must have a whole bunch of ideas and just go from one thing to the next. But really what it is they have a process of innovation, and they just solve a different problem with each time they implement their process. So how does this translate to small businesses like yourself? The answer is that yes, as a service-based business, if you're not selling a book or a program, right, or a group, then chances are you are delivering highly customized, highly individualized product to your clients. Okay? While what you do or how you solve that problem may be different for each and every person or client, chances are how you do it is very predictable. Now, what I find for so many business owners is that, first off, you got to make that decision. Is this about the end solution, or is this about how you solve a problem? So make that first decision. For me, it's always been about how I solve the problem. Okay? The second thing you need to think about is really how do you break this up into step-by-step process, steps, more steps. And here's where I come in, because for a lot of us, you're unconsciously competent, meaning you don't even know how good you are. You do things unconsciously because you know what to do. And I liken this to, if the most popular example is if you get into your car and you leave wherever, say you leave church and you drive home, or you leave your office and you drive home. A lot of times people aren't conscious of the drive home because their brain goes into thinking about other things because they're unconsciously competent at the drive. All right, but if you were going to a new place you've never been before, you probably would be paying attention to what's the street sign, what are the signals, where are you going the right way? All of these questions that would pop up into your head. Well, when you solve or you do the voodoo that you do so well in your business, you are doing it from an unconsciously competent standpoint, meaning you're not aware of the steps that you are taking in order to do it. And it takes a certain skill to bring awareness and really be able to start to document. That's why working with a business coach like myself, that's one of the things we can do. We're the outside eyes looking in. Everything's fresh, so we tend to see more, right? We haven't developed that unconscious competency. And if you're like me, I see patterns. So I can spot a pattern lickety-split in so many ways, which is one reason why making up processes is so easy to me, because I can just see them. They're already there. They're laying right out there. So you might need some outside eyes in order to identify what your process is. Okay, so think about that. And then the third step is, once you have that documented, there's one little key. Let me give you a bonus here. It only needs to be as complicated as it has to be. In essence, the KISS method, the keep it simple, stupid, that works. And that's what makes processes usable. And so I always think about, are we keeping it as simple and as bare bones that it can potentially be, so that people do it? Because here's what I know, working with a lot of people: what's easy gets done. If it's hard, if it's complicated, it will never happen, no matter how good your process is. You have to keep it easy. So what's easy gets done, and think about that when you're looking at documenting. And then you've got to put it to the test. You know, one of the favorite ways that I have for working with clients and developing process, especially if they have team, is I basically advise my owners to delegate verbally to their employee, have the employee produce the documentation, and then after whatever the task is that's completed, they actually review it together, because it's a step that the business owner can see, oh, I forgot to tell you about this because I'm unconsciously competent at this task. It didn't occur to me to say X, Y, and Z. And that just helps make sure that you're thinking through the process, but it also gives the employee a little bit of ownership on these processes that we're asking them to implement and to adhere to. Once you have that all done, man, that's a lot. I mean, been 7 minutes, and that was worth 7 minutes in and of itself. But once you have all of this done, here's the benefits to you. Probably the easiest one is that you can now increase your capacity to serve without increasing the human power that it will take to do so. And let me give you an example of how that is. So in my first business, everything's highly customized, right? Once we actually documented the process in such a way that people knew what to do, we saw that a process might take us 6 weeks. Like we could turn around and design and costing and all that stuff in 6 weeks. But there was this window, like a 2-week window of downtime, because we were waiting on all of this information to come from other people. Well, we could start another project in that 2-week window. And we started building in all these projects. So we were compressing, instead of working only on one project for 6 weeks and then starting another, we actually could do in that same 6 weeks about 2.5 projects and do them really well because we knew what was required at each step. That is just a way that you can get this kind of leverage that you may not think you can get. I promise you, I've yet to run up against the circumstance that this kind of compression couldn't benefit. And really, it's kind of one of those nice things. So it gives you the ability to stack. It actually gives you ability to have a pipeline so you're comfortable taking on more clients, because sometimes that's a really big fear. But that's just one of those things that I want you to think about in your small business, in your ability to actually generate income and serve your clients as you move forward. So that's it for today. Let me know if you had any questions. If you like this episode, please share it. Please like the Your Biz Rules page if you're not a fan of ours just quite yet. And then we'll be talking to you on our next Coaching from the Carpool. Have a great day.